Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, a human tragedy that will last for generations. A new UN report on migrants in Libya highlights tales of rape, abuse and exploitation, particularly amongst women and children. Also, as the president of Africa's top economy remains in London for a 6th week on sick leave, we take a look at his vice president and the positive reviews of Yemi Obasanjo's temporary stewardship of Nigeria. And as the 25th edition of Africa's biggest film festival continues to attract lovers of the big screen, our correspondents meet the only Guinean filmmaker at the Fespaco event in Burkina Faso. But first, the UN's children's agencies said that women and young people travelling across Africa to Libya in the hope of migrating to Europe are being beaten, raped and starved in what's been described as living hellholes. There are at least 250,000 migrants in Libya, many languishing in poorly equipped holding centres. In a new report, many of the people investigators spoke to said that they'd been abused by traffickers several times on the journey, and that's before they even tried to make the often deadly trip across the Mediterranean.
That is very sad. Not seeing any small thing. They used to beat us every day with babies, with adults. One person that is pregnant, they want to deliver that day. If they want to deliver, if they have delivered the baby finish, no hot water, nothing. If the salt water, we are going to use to go and take care of that baby.
Well, Najwa Meki from Unicef tells us more about the importance of being aware that migrants are more than just statistics and paying attention to the intricacies of the difficulties they face.
I think we're trying to do two things here. First, we're trying to raise awareness. There's a lot of testimonies in the report, including the ones that you showed earlier, that speak to the suffering of these children and the conditions in which they live. And we want the world to know that we're talking about human lives here. They're not just statistics. They're people whose lives have been turned upside down because for no other reason than the fact that they're trying to get a better future for themselves and for their families. But we're also presenting a series of recommendations, whether to the Libyan authorities or to the broader international community. And these are very simple recommendations that we feel need to be implemented to protect these children's rights and to make sure that they are treated with respect and dignity. And these include things like making sure these children stay safe, or making sure that they are not held in detention centers, that those are not appropriate places for children, or that families need to be reunited. So those children who are trying to go to Europe because they're trying to join other family members should be allowed to do so. And I think more importantly, we're also looking at more serious measures or more stronger measures to address the root causes of this human wave of migrants. These causes need to be addressed, whether it's economic needs or whether in most cases it's complex situations that these children are trying to flee.
In other news, Gambia's new president continued to clear out top officials linked to the rule of his predecessor, Yahya Jammeh, and fired the country's army chief. Adama Barrow's handed General Usman Badji his marching papers, and the new head of the armed forces has vowed to improve troop morale and the relationship between military and civilians. Barrow's overhauls also seen Parliament raise the age limit for the presidency and vice presidency from 65 to 75. That allows his choice of number 2, Fatoumata Tambadjang, to be sworn in. Nigeria's President, Muhammadu Buhari, has been in London on medical leave for 6 weeks now. And in his absence, the fate of the continent's top economy is in the hands of his number 2, Yemi Obasanjo. Many working under Osinbajo, say that his leadership, albeit temporary, has energized the presidency.
Vice President Yemi Obasanjo has been pushed into the limelight for several weeks now, ever since the 19th of January when Muhammadu Buhari went to London on medical leave. The two men have very different characters. Buhari is a 74-year-old former military ruler, a Muslim from the north who's known to be inflexible, while Osinbajo, who's 59 and hails from the southwest, is more consensual. He's a former lawyer and university professor, and he's a Pentecostal church pastor. Unlike Buhari, he went to the Niger Delta region and held talks to end militant attacks against oil infrastructure.
That sense of empathy is making people in the Niger Delta to see somebody they can trust, somebody they can work with, somebody they can engage with.
A slump in global oil prices means Nigeria has been in recession since August. Trying to restore growth during Buhari's absence will be the main task facing this graduate of the London School of Economics.
In all the years I've known him, it's not as if he doesn't lose in temper, but he maintains control. He maintains control under adversity, under pressure. So I don't think the pressure of the office is going to break him. It's going to get better and it's going to get stronger with his understanding of the terrain. And I believe we'll see more of him in the Nigerian politics now and in the future.
But even though Osinbajo has received many plaudits so far, there are fears that tensions could rise if Buhari does not return to the helm soon. There's an unwritten rule in Nigerian politics that the presidency alternates between Muslims and Christians. And Muslims were already angered when President Yar'Adua died in office in 2010 and was replaced by his Christian deputy, Goodluck Jonathan.
Now, last week, the Ivorian government banned agri-businesses because of concerns that they're ripping people off. The schemes are tempting to investors because they promise returns of an incredible between 300 and 1,000%. The crackdowns raised fears amongst tens of thousands of people who've already bought into agri-businesses that they may lose their hard-earned savings.
Hundreds of agribusiness investors protest in Abidjan. They're angry and they're ready to fight. Since the government banned agribusinesses, people are worried they may never see their money again.
We're not talking about a scam with companies that have been around for more than 10 years. You cannot come and tell us these companies which were legally registered, with which we have contracts, want to rob us. Come on, wake up.
People claim they've never had a problem with these companies or with their investment. Like Florian, they believe in the huge profits that are advertised. Many have invested years of savings.
On my birthday, I invested 900,000 CFA francs. After 6 months and 2 weeks, I was promised about 6 million, and I was satisfied when I received my 6 million because it was such a big amount in such a short time. Frankly, it was a good deal for me, a good deal in this difficult life that we know.
A bargain, she says, up to 1,000% return on investment. That's simply impossible, according to authorities.
It's a scam. What kind of activity can deliver so much profit in such a short time? I don't know of any. So it's a good thing the government decided very early to ban these businesses because the system was going to collapse and do so much more harm than now.
The government has registered more than 50,000 angry investors. It says they'll be repaid with the 22 billion CFA found on the accounts of the agribusinesses. The problem is, people have invested more than 3 times that amount, close to 100 million euros.
As the 25th edition of Africa's biggest film festival continues to pull in cinema lovers from around the world, our correspondents have been to meet the only Guinean filmmaker at the Fespaco event in Burkina Faso. He's hoping his labour of love will win over the hearts and minds of audiences and judges alike.
Sheikh Abdoulaye Kamara set off from Conakry on the long trip to Fespaco. The road to Africa's biggest film festival was far from easy for the Guinean filmmaker. It took 3 border crossings, numerous security checks and 2 days. But finally, he made it, Ouagadougou, and the out-of-competition screening of his feature film, Édition Spéciale.
You're always stressed when you have to show a film to a new audience, like any director. Will the audience enjoy it? Will they understand the message we wanted to tell through this film? Those are the questions that go through your head. I hope that the people who see the film remember it fondly.
Quelqu'un de très passionné par son travail. Et pourquoi n'a-t-il pas publié ça? C'est pourtant très explosif, ça.
Vous allez exactement faire ce que je vous dis.
Édition Spéciale takes viewers behind the scenes of a team of journalists' investigation into the murder of their editor. The Q&A that followed the 1-hour screening was met with an enthusiastic response from the audience.
It's the first time I've seen this type of film. It tells the story and daily life of an investigative journalist. I learned a lot.
Kamara is hoping the judges awarding the prizes for short films on March the 3rd will feel the same.
Well, that's it for Eye on Africa for now. Thanks for joining us and do so again. Take care.